Hey everybody, welcome back. It's author MD New, and today I am here to share more writing tips and tricks with you. And today we are actually not going to be talking about writing tips and tricks. Kind of are, kind of aren't. But what I thought we would chat about today is where to spend your time when you're not writing, where to focus your efforts, what you should be working on, what you should be doing. So today let's talk about that. But first, before we jump in, I invite you to please like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help me out quite a bit. And if you feel like sharing this with another couple of your writing friends, please do so. I would really appreciate it as well. So let's jump into where to focus your efforts when you're not writing. So, first and foremost, if you haven't already done so, and you've probably heard this numerous times, create a newsletter. Whether it's quarterly, monthly, weekly, create a newsletter, start sending it out, and build up your mailing list. That should be a given. That should be something that you do. All writers do. Also, if you haven't, or if you don't want to do a newsletter, which you really should, trust me, I have to force myself to do a quarterly newsletter. Start a blog. It's another thing to do, whether it's weekly, monthly, quarterly, etc. Start a blog, have a place where people can come and really get to know you. Don't be afraid to share yourself with the world. That's what fans want. That's what your readers want. They want to get to know you. I'm not saying share every gory detail about your life, but share the stuff that you wouldn't mind in 10, 15 years all of a sudden being dredged back up and somebody finding and it being shared in a news outlet, right? Kind of keep that in mind. So, another good place to find readers and to get involved, some people love it, some people hate it, is Goodreads. It is a great place to find readers. All of your books, once you have them, should be posted on Goodreads. That way people can find them, they can see reviews, and it's a good way for them to be able to click on it, and they can actually have Goodreads has links embedded to where they can click on it and go and buy your books. It's just a great way to have a presence and for you to find authors that you like, books that you like. They also have annual awards, they have groups that they have, etc. It can be overwhelming. There is a lot to it, and at times there are people who may or may not be very helpful and or kind. Still, it's a good place to find reviews. So I suggest Goodreads as an option, especially if you're a new author and you only have one or two books out there. Next up is BookBub. It's a great way to promote your books. Again, you create a landing page, it has all of your books, and you can start interacting and sharing your reviews of books that you've read with people. That's also the same with Goodreads, if I didn't say that. But yeah, these are great places for you to share your reviews and to get people to notice your works. Of course, we all know you either love it or hate it. There's Amazon. They're the king of the publishing world right now, whether they virtual publishing world, online publishing world. Um, whether you love them or hate them, they're there. Your books, once you publish them, will end up being there. So it definitely is worth you spending a little bit of time creating your author page and making sure that when people buy your books that they at least have have your image, have your avatar, have some book covers, have a little bit about yourself, and share your other social media links where people can find you. Speaking of social media, let's talk about Facebook. Again, love it or hate it, it's there, people use it. Yes, some people say, but it's all for old people now. That may be true. Old people read. I cannot tell you how many older folks read my books. And I'm not talking ancient old. I'm talking, from anywhere from 40s on up. They are familiar with Facebook, they use Facebook, and that is where they find a lot of their books. That's where they find their authors. That's where they'll follow their authors. And that's where they want to get to learn about their authors. So, love it or hate it, Facebook and Facebook groups are really helpful. It's also a good way for you to find the writing community there. There's book groups for everything: sci-fi, romance, MM romance, mystery writers, audiobook lovers, etc. So, as well as cooking pages and everything. So you can find everything on Facebook. You don't need me to tell you everything that you can find because you're probably on Facebook. Now you just need to use it for your writing and for your author persona. Next up, it's another one that people either love or hate, is Twitter. So when it comes to Twitter, for me, I like Twitter. I don't necessarily like who owns it and what's going on, but I like Twitter because I've gotten fantastic interaction on Twitter. It's a good way to engage my fans and my readers, and for me to find other readers. It's also a great way for me to promote my books. I do really well with promoting my works on Twitter. I don't know why, I just do. It's just the way it is. But when it comes to Twitter and all social media, there's the rule of thirds, right? So you have, for every one book that you, or for every promo book that you do, or promo of whatever that you're trying to sell, you should have 2 other posts of something unrelated. Typically, sharing a resource, sharing information about other writers, sharing book reviews, sharing anything that's pertinent to you, right, in your writing world. You can also share personal info. You don't have to go again into all the nitty gritty, but readers and the fans of your work like to see that, hey, you went for a bike ride today, or hey, you baked scones today, or hey, you and your spouse went on this trip. Again, you don't have to share all the nitty gritty and share what's comfortable with you, but it's a good way to engage fans, good way to get more fans, good way to find readers. Instagram is another way to find people, especially if you're a good photographer and you love taking pictures or creating reels, these little videos. It's fantastic. Again, same with Facebook and Twitter. Share what you're comfortable with, share what you don't mind coming back and you've seen in 5, 10, 15 years. It's a great way to get noticed. Again, I do really well on Instagram. I get a lot of attention from my books. I get a lot of attention from the stuff that I post. Do I have a huge following? No. But if you look at what I post, I usually have a pretty good engagement, which keeps my posts active and stuff, which I really like. Next up, if you're watching this, then you already know what I'm going to say. YouTube. If you enjoy sharing content, or if you have something to say, then YouTube is great. I created this YouTube channel specifically to share content with other writers, because when I started writing, I couldn't find most of these topics that we go over on this channel. I couldn't find anything about. Nobody really talked about it. Nobody shared this information. It was, all so vague. Or, and I'm not saying the other YouTube channels are bad or anything. Everybody does what they're going to do. I didn't want to be sold a how-to book. On this channel, you will never hear me say, hey, here are 10 ways to write great characters, and you'll be able to find the other 5 in my new book that's out coming in No, I don't do that. Everything that I post here is what's here. You won't find it anywhere else. I'm not going to be writing a how-to book about this. Watch, this is going to come back to bite me in 15 years. But, my plan is to not write it. It's all going to be here. So if you want to learn about writing from an author who has done it and, continues to do it, then that's why I'm here on YouTube. That's why I'm sharing this stuff. So I'm not doing it for anything else other than that. There's another social media one that is Discord. Oh, but before I do that, I do want to go back to YouTube because there is something else that now I find actually very helpful that I do like about YouTube and YouTube content creators and videos is if you read a lot, if you're one of those writers that reads, incessantly and you like posting reviews, you can create a YouTube channel where you do book reviews. Those blow up. People love those. I don't read enough books. I mean, I do read books, but I don't read enough books to where I could keep a YouTube channel active on reviews because I just don't have the time. But keep, if you like doing that, it's a wonderful option. It's a great way for you to get noticed and to help build your community. And the other thing is once you get out there enough and people start realizing that you're doing these reviews, they'll send you books to review. So it's something to keep in mind, especially if you love to read. Okay, now back to the next social media platform, Discord. I'm sure most of you have heard of it. It's like all social media, but this one's a little bit more open source. You can find a lot of folks to engage with, and it's a good way to find like-minded people. So you can be a little bit more targeted in where you go, where you spend time, what groups you join, etc., and you're not going to get bombarded with stuff that you really don't want to see or care about. When it comes to social media, there are buckets of platforms out there. You've got TikTok, Mastodon, Tumblr, LinkedIn, Pinterest, etc., etc., etc. Find the ones that work for you. So, in conclusion, when it comes to where you should be when you're not writing, it is really important for you to have a presence somewhere, whether it's a website, whether it's Goodreads page, whether it's your Amazon page, whether it's Twitter, TikTok, whatever. Have a place where people can find you and you can engage your fans and promote your work. This is what social media is there for at least for us authors. It gives us a way to get ourselves out there, especially if you don't have a big PR budget or a big marketing budget or, hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend on ads. Minimal effort, and it can be a lot of fun as long as you don't take any of it too seriously. But what it boils down to is finding a few that you like and focusing on those, because you can't be everywhere all at the same time. I don't know, maybe you can. I know I can't. But either way, find the ones that work for you and go with it. Okay, everybody, I've been author MD New. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and take care. Bye.